those differences and us becoming one, and we could talk about different areas like money, how we manage money, how we spend money. We had to learn to work together. But with that, when you don't really come to that place of compromise, understanding, consideration, it gets bad.
It does get bad.
It can get ugly, and it leads to a lot of fights.
Especially when you enter in a marriage and you're thinking that it's going to be 50-50.
Welcome to Doing It with the Daniels, the podcast where we help couples navigate life, marriage, and ministry. I'm Charles.
And I'm Tisa. Join us as we share insights, wisdom, and practical advice to strengthen your marriage, empower your life, and enrich your ministry.
Let's dive in together and discover the joys of doing life with the Daniels.
Hey, thanks for joining us for another episode of Doing It with the Daniels, where we help couples get it on in life, marriage, and ministry. Let's go. What's up, babe?
What's up?
You ready to get started?
I'm ready.
Come on, what are we talking about today?
We are talking about the two becoming one today.
Ooh, two becoming one. The Bible talks about, and the two shall become one flesh. When a man leaves his mother and father, cleaves to his wife, and they become one flesh. What do you think about becoming one?
Sounds easy, right?
I guess.
It's not.
Hey, it wasn't easy for us.
It wasn't easy for us, but we did it.
Right.
I
know in our previous episodes, we kind of talked about our dating journey and leading up to getting married. And, we kind of cut off at getting married, moving into our new home.
Right.
And just really loving each other. And everything was bliss, And I think that's what a lot of couples experience. Like, man, this is great. We're married. We're loving each other. We're having an amazing time. Until you get under the same roof together in a marriage covenant. I'm not talking about what the old folks call shacking. They call it shacking. You just living together. When you live together, you're not in a God-ordained covenant. The devil's really not fighting you.
Right, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? There's really no real warfare that comes against ungodly relationships. But when you enter into a godly covenant like marriage, remember, marriage is God's idea, not the world's, not the devil's. It's God's idea. And the enemy fights marriage with everything that is in him, right? And so one of the first things he's going to come against is the two becoming one.
Yeah.
And that is the merging of your lives. So when we got married, we both had our own apartments.
Yep.
We left our apartments, we bought a home, and we began to move in together. And the first coming together piece of that was like, what are we gonna bring together?
Exactly.
Like, we both bought our bedrooms because both of us had roommates.
Yes.
In our singleness, so we had bedroom sets. I think you had a living room set, but you actually
I left it.
Yeah.
I left everything.
Yeah, you left everything except for your bedroom set, right? You even left dishes.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, wait a minute, I thought we was merging dishes, and I had a few little dishes that I bought as a bachelor, which wasn't much. And you was like, don't worry about it. We'll get more stuff later. Right. So we bought that. And here's the thing. That wasn't a problem.
No.
Because my dishes were the dishes.
Yeah.
There was nothing to talk about. There was no whose dishes are better, it didn't matter.
Nope.
Because this is what we had. Bedrooms. We had 3-bedroom home at that time.
Yes.
And that was space for all the bedrooms. Beds to come in, because I had one bed, you had another bed. Somebody gave us a bed.
Yep.
For our son's room.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, they gave us a bid. So, hey, that all came together.
Yeah.
But when it came to doing life,
that's where the fun begins, right?
That's where the fun begins, because now you got to talk about who's responsible for the cooking.
Yeah. Who's responsible for the cleaning?
Yeah.
Who's responsible for the grocery shopping?
Yeah. Who's gonna do the dishes?
Yeah. Who's gonna drop the kids off at daycare?
Yeah.
Who's gonna pick them up?
Who has to sacrifice and make sure the daycare gets paid?
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's tough.
Yeah, it was a challenge, especially if you're not willing to compromise. I remember for us, one thing we argued over, and this is probably just a funny story for us, where we grew up in different households and we did things in a different way. Right. And so in my household, we kept medicine like, Tylenol, that kind of stuff that you may need.
Cough syrup.
Yeah. We kept that stuff in the bathroom because in the bathroom is where we had, in my logic, this thing called a medicine cabinet, which I know they don't really make those in house anymore. So in my mind, medicine cabinet, put the medicine in the medicine cabinet, which is what we did growing up. But
in my household, it went in the kitchen. And so I think that funny story is when you were going looking for the medicine or anything like that, it was in the kitchen, and you was like, why is this in the kitchen? It's supposed to go in the bathroom. And I'm like, no, it's supposed to go in the kitchen. And we had to figure all that out.
Well, what I did is once I saw you put it all at that bottom shelf in the kitchen, I was like, this don't belong in the kitchen. I took it all out and put it in the bathroom.
Yep.
Right? And so when you saw I put it in the bathroom, you took it out of the bathroom and put it back in the kitchen. And I took it out of the kitchen and was like, this belongs in the bathroom. Stop putting it in the kitchen. You're like, no, this belongs in the kitchen. And we began to argue over our logic. My logic was medicine cabinet, although we didn't have one. It goes in the bathroom. Your logic was it's medicine. What do you need when you take medicine?
Water,
a spoon, whatever. Where's that stuff? In
the kitchen.
So if the medicine's in the kitchen, that's where you take it from. Right?
Makes sense, right?
It makes sense. Both of our logics made sense, but we had to merge together and be like, okay, what do we do?
Right.
What's best for us? I think I ended up compromising because you wouldn't yield. And you was like, we're going to keep it in the kitchen, right? And I think that's the important thing of the two becoming one. There has to be that element of compromise.
Right.
You cannot have a successful marriage if you go into it with a stubborn heart and a stubborn mind when it comes to what you think things should be.
Yeah.
Because you have two different backgrounds. People don't grow up the same.
Because I didn't grow up with it in the bathroom. I grew up with it in the kitchen. So that's just, for me, that was it.
Yeah.
And I probably would have been willing to compromise back then. You don't think so?
Well, you weren't, because every time I moved it, you kept moving it back.
I guess I would have needed a better understanding.
Yeah. I think we both decided, well, maybe it's not worth it. Let's just, that's so small. And I think in marriage, like, you really discover that it's the small things that are most important. And if you don't deal with the small things, those small things become bigger things.
Exactly.
And it begins to create a divide in the marriage. So if you can't handle the small matters or the small differences that need compromise and understanding so you all can be together, it's going to create a divide that's going to continue to spread within that relationship. And that's just medicine. But I mean, even when it comes to things like putting gas in the car or here's another one for us, washing the car.
Yeah.
Like, we got married, in your mind,
you was going to wash the cars and keep the cars clean.
Right. And in my mind, I wasn't.
Was it?
No,
he was like, I'm not washing no car.
I'm not going to be out in the sun every Friday evening and Saturday morning washing cars, because I know you wash your car every week.
Yeah.
I was like, no, that ain't going to be.
And it didn't happen.
No, it did not.
And so I had to learn how to wash my own car.
Yeah, that is true.
Because I feel like, you the man. I grew up seeing my daddy wash cars and keeping the cars clean and all that. And so I felt like you were going to do that for me. And it didn't happen like that.
No, I was like, no, it's hot out here. Like, we can take it to the car wash. We find somebody that can wash it, but I don't want to be out here.
You still didn't do that. You didn't find nobody.
No,
maybe
I think money was tight.
Money was tight.
So we just had to be like, you know what? Let it be what it is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, something simple as far as cooking. And if I was in the house cooking and you were on your way home and I would need something from the grocery store, and I would call and I would say, hey, can you stop by the grocery store and pick this up for me?
Well, don't tell it. It made me look so bad. Don't tell this one.
What would you say? Or what did you say?
I ain't stopping nowhere. I'm tired. I want to come straight home.
And so what did I have to do?
You had to pause your cooking, go to the store, get the ingredients that you did not have, and then come back and finish cooking. But that's because in my mind, I was like, didn't you know you was cooking before you came home? So shouldn't you have got all the stuff you needed to get?
But you didn't compromise in that area.
No,
I felt like if we're a team, we're together, we're working together. If I'm at home cooking and you're already out, I felt like you should be willing to be like, oh yeah, I stopped. What do you need?
That's true. And like, now being more mature, because we were young when we got married.
Yeah, we were young.
I understand. I mean, I really even realized that as a man, and most men are this way, when we get married, especially young, we're really selfish.
Yeah.
Men are selfish just by nature, and we have to really work to overcome that selfishness. And it was really inconsiderate of me.
Yeah.
So I'm glad I've grown beyond that now.
Thank you, Jesus.
I was like,
Yeah.
No, why didn't you get what you need to get before you came home?
Because it had me thinking, I was like, man, who is this man? Like, what is this?
I didn't
like,
work all day. I'm tired.
I did too. And I had the kids, so I had to turn off the stuff. I had to grab them, get them, put them in the car, go to the store, get what I need, come back, put everything back on, start back cooking. So, and I was just trying to make sure that no resentment built up in me towards you because of that, because I'm like, man, this is so small.
Yeah.
Why can't he just go by the store and get what I need?
I think that's good right there, because when you don't deal with those issues, it does create an inner resentment that you may not see at that moment.
Right.
But it's going to manifest later with a certain level of bitterness, anger, frustration.
Because that stuff will play in your mind.
Yeah.
Like, it's just going to the store and getting a can of green beans. Like, what's the big deal with that? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I've gotten off work and I went pick the kids up and rushing home trying to get dinner started. Because, when you get off work 4:35, that time is rolling. So I think in my mind, I was thinking, let me go ahead and get this food started. So, because kids got to do homework. And, so I was thinking about all of that stuff.
I think there are a lot of couples who deal with that, in that becoming one.
Yeah.
A lot of resentment and bitterness was the seed of it, was formed in their relationships. And now, maybe months later, years later, they're struggling in their marriage because of that. What would you say? How did you deal with that? How did you keep that from becoming something that the enemy could really destroy us with?
So I didn't take it personal, and I just prayed about it, even though it kind of like, I was kind of taken back a little bit because you did that. And I was just like, well, maybe this is just who he is and how he is. Because remember, we got married quick.
Yeah.
And so I was still learning you. And I just kind of prayed about it. And I'm kind of the type of person where back then I just was like, okay, let me just do what I need to do to get what I need to get done. So I just didn't hold it against you, but I recognized it, and I recognized how the enemy was trying to play with my mind to remind me he could have went and got, those thoughts. It's just going to the store and getting that he's already out. And so I just had to kill those thoughts.
Yeah, I think that's good right there, because a lot of people don't really take their thoughts captive.
Right.
They just let it play out because I'm angry, I'm frustrated, not knowing that you are actually meditating on something that's designed to destroy your relationship.
Yeah. And
it's designed to destroy your marriage. Go ahead.
Right. And so I just didn't meditate on that.
Yeah.
I was just like, let me just go and do what I need to do to get this done.
Was it easy? Because you make it sound so easy.
It wasn't easy.
Yeah.
Because I had thoughts, like, it's just going to the store, so small. You know what I'm saying? Those thoughts. But I just try not to focus on that and just do what I needed to do. But no, it's not easy.
Yeah. That internal fight that comes with it. You said something else, like you grew up seeing your dad wash
your cars.
Right? So that was your expectation. Well, same with me, like with washing dishes. I don't like to wash dishes. I will wash them now, but I didn't like it. But I grew up not really seeing my father wash dishes in the house. So that was another thing.
That was it.
When we came together,
yeah.
Oh, who's going to wash dishes? Well, in my mind, you the wife, you the woman, you gonna wash dishes until the kids grow up, then they gonna wash dishes.
Yeah, and I think that was another issue with us, because I would cook and then I would turn around and have to clean. And there's nothing wrong with that, but sometimes it's just a little consideration to be like, hey, don't worry about that. I'll take care of that. You go ahead and do whatever you need to do with the kids. And I never got that. So it's just like, okay, hey, you see me over here. Can you help me out a little bit?
It was rough. It was rough in the beginning.
Yeah.
I mean, that was two becoming one and really learning who we were. And really accepting that I was selfish and inconsiderate.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't have considered myself to be that way. But when you get married, stuff about you that you don't think is there starts to come out.
Yeah.
And I mean, I was resistant to it because you would tell me about it, like, I'm not that person.
Yeah. I would try to tell you, but you was just like, that ain't me.
Yeah, I'm like, you just mad, you just frustrated because I ain't doing what you want me to do. You trying to control me.
That's exactly what you said. But it wasn't. I wasn't trying to control you. Yeah. Now, I grew up with my grandmother, seeing my grandmother like really serve and wait on her husband, but she didn't work. Yeah. And so my granddaddy, he worked. And so I would see her come home, make his food, clean up the kitchen, do all that other stuff. So I understood, what a a role of a wife should be. But there comes a different time when you work. I'm working, you're working, we got kids, I'm getting off work and doing all this, and then you're getting off work. So sometimes, the two should be helping each other.
We got to work together.
Got to work together.
It's like the Bible. Sometimes we don't consider the Bible in our marriages that the two have to become one, or we're helpers one to another.
Yeah.
Sometimes we think that's in Christendom as believers, but if we are two believers who are married, we're supposed to be helping each other.
Yeah, exactly.
We're supposed to be that support. If I'm gonna help anybody,
You should be helping me.
right?
Exactly.
And you helping me.
Now, how long did it take you to get that?
It took some growing. It took some growing.
Glad you got it.
But that was a part of the journey.
Yeah,
it was.
it
A part of
was.
our process, and I hate it now looking back because it was very inconsiderate. But I'm appreciative about it now because we're able to help others.
Yeah.
Who are having those same experiences. And I
Exactly.
realized there was nothing wrong with me then. I just didn't have a certain understanding,
Right.
or even a recognition of some things that I needed to work on. You for the most part was very giving, supportive,
Yeah.
considerate, which I think most women are wired that way
Right.
because they're nurturers by nature. They want to nurture. They want to
Yeah.
help. They want to support. They want.
That's who we are.
Right. They want to carry whatever part of the load they can carry
Yeah.
to make sure everybody's doing well. And many times a wife, and you can speak of this even more than I can, wives don't always get that support, and they find themselves depleted and burnt out, frustrated
Yeah.
more often than everybody else. A man, he'll be walking around like, I'm happy, everything's
everything great. Like,
and the wife is
looking
kinda
around
got her
like-
face long, and she mad like, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with
exactly. And that's some of the things that for you, I was like, I can maintain, but sometimes, things get chaotic. And I just need you to notice when it's chaotic, step in, help me get everything back together, and let me go back to maintaining.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You know how laundry, how sometimes laundry can get backed up. And so when it's backed up, it's just like, okay, let me get all this stuff done. But okay, now I need you to kind of come alongside of me, help, let's get everything back together, and then I'm good.
Yeah.
And I can kind of maintain and get things back together. Because you got life, you're traveling, you're doing things.
And we got
you just,
ministry,
And you got
so-
ministry,
and
and you just get
that's
busy.
big,
Yeah. And so sometimes the house can get chaotic, the kitchen, the dishes, like all of that stuff. And I just wanted you to kind of just notice on your own and say, all right, babe, I got you. Let's get this together.
Ooh, I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said that. You wanted me to notice on my own, and that didn't happen.
Nope, it didn't happen.
And but here's the other thing. We can talk about communication later. When it didn't happen, you didn't say, "Hey, will you help me?" It came out in an attitude.
Yeah, it did. It did. It
It
did.
came out in kind of
You don't
shut it
never
down.
help me around here.
Well, you
don't
didn't say that till you got frustrated and mad. But before that, it was like the silent treatment, shut down. And I'm like, what's wrong? Nothing.
Because I wanted you to notice. I wanted you to see. And it's just like you going around like everything great. I'm doing good. And I'm sitting around here looking at this house and like, what? Come on. We
Yeah.
need some help. I need some help.
Yeah.
And then, later on, I guess when finances got better, you was like, I can hire somebody. And I'm like, no, that's not going to fix it.
Yeah. But with us thinking about this as we kind of wrap this up, those differences in us becoming one, and we could talk about different areas like money,
Yeah.
how we manage money, how we spend money, because I blew some money. But we had to learn
Yes.
to work together. But with that, when you don't really come to that place of compromise, understanding, consideration, it gets bad.
It does get bad.
It can get ugly, and it leads to a lot of fights. It leads
Especially when you enter in a marriage and you're thinking that it's going to be 50-50. It's not going to be 50-50 all the time. Sometimes it's going to be 90-10.
It's rarely 50-50.
Yeah, it's not. It's not 50-50. It's going to be 80-20.
Yeah.
And so what do? I think a lot of people get into marriage thinking that it's going to be that, and it's not.
Yeah. You said
know-
it's 80-20 it's 90-10, sometimes 100-0.
Yeah.
It just all depends on the
And
situation.
that was what we were. Is 100-0?
No. No, it wasn't that bad.
No, it wasn't that bad. But, people do enter in marriage thinking that, everything's going to be shared, and it's not like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. And I think those differences, like we talked about, creates those fights, those disagreements, those arguments. which if it goes on, it leads to a separation.
Yeah.
And it spills over into your communication.
Exactly.
It spills over into intimacy.
Yes.
And a lot of men, men just, hey, let's do it.
And the
when she's
woman
not just willing and open, sometimes it's not that she doesn't want to or she doesn't desire you. Sometimes it's she don't feel loved by you.
Right.
Like if we talk about love languages, I realized your love language, one of your primary love languages was acts of service.
Right. Exactly. That's it.
And when I figured that out, I was like, oh, so if I wash dishes, can I turn you on? Praise God. Okay. Put some dishes in the sink. Where's the vacuum?
Yeah, something simple.
Right.
Something simple.
You discover that, but if you don't, it just creates more tension because until I got that, it was like, what's wrong
with you?
You don't desire me? You don't want me? What's wrong?
And that wasn't the case.
Right. But you didn't feel considered. You didn't feel love. You didn't feel help.
Exactly.
In the relationship, which created other challenges that we had to navigate through. But it led to a lot of disagreements, arguments, and fighting. And when I use the term fighting, I don't mean physically fighting.
Right.
You probably wanted to physically fight me.
A couple times.
But just those indifferences that led to certain blow-ups along the way. Kind of like you said, you don't ever help me. Well, that didn't just happen. It kind of led to that.
Over the course of time.
Yeah, and I think we need to talk about that more and help some people with that as well. Right?
That'll be good.
But that two becoming one is a big deal.
It's a big deal. It's a really big deal. It's tough.
I think that love, that consideration, that compromise, that understanding, if people would put those things into place, if they would be more empathetic towards one another, I think that would truly help couples really navigate the two becoming one and really learn to, like we said understanding, but really learn. The Bible says in all you're getting, get understanding. Sometimes when you have those indifferences, you need to sit down.
Yeah, and just talk.
Put your biases aside. Put what you want aside. People are talking, but they not putting what they want aside.
Right.
Put what you want aside. Have a conversation with understanding and
exactly.
empathy. And I think it goes along.
Exactly, because I think I was coming to you talking, but your understanding wasn't it?
No, I lack empathy and considerate because my mind was made up.
Yeah, but your mind was like, I'm not the problem, you the problem.
But when we changed it.
Yeah, we changed it. You changed it.
Better.
Yeah, it did get better.
Hey, listen, hopefully this discussion has helped you all. Seeing our two becoming one is really a big thing, and I'm glad we were able to navigate, and God has helped us, and hopefully you'll be able to get a head start and navigate it a whole lot better and a whole lot faster than we did. All right, so thank y'all for joining us for another episode of Doing It with the Daniels. We'll see you at the next one. Take care.
Hey, thank you for joining us for Doing It with the Daniels. If you want to keep up with everything going on our channel, don't forget to
like, comment, subscribe, and share this podcast.
Absolutely. We'll see you next time.